Namaste, angels. This is the weekly love reading for the period of Sunday, October 4th through Saturday to come, October 10th. We're going to get right into it, beginning with Forget It, Spend Money, and Sex on the dice. Spirit says it's 50-50, which is very important in love, right? It could mean about love going two ways, or the need for love, healthy love, to be able to pass two ways in order to be healthy. Otherwise, it's toxic, right? If it's like one-sided or stuck or something like that. Also, it could be about give and take and the need for both people to put the work in. It can be about balance. There's a few different meanings possible of it's 50-50. Once again, I have the 29 staring me in the face. There it is. The way the die ended up. But on the top is spend money still. And sex still. Don't spend money on sex unless you're in Nevada. It's illegal in most places. All right, so we're going to go to the cards, and I'm using my Universal Tarot. It's basically the similar images to the Rider-Waite Tarot. It's, sort of based on those images, but it's slightly different, like the tone and the even the feel of the cards is different. This is more yellow than the actual Knight of Pentacles in the other deck. You get the idea. So yes, we'll begin with the Knight of Pentacles, which is very possibly not only a male or masculine, but an earth sign, a Taurus, Virgo, a Capricorn, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. What do I want to tell you about those signs? Well, Venus, ruler of the sign of Taurus, entered Virgo, fellow earth sign Virgo last week. So that may be why. Also, we have Pluto, ruler of the sign of Scorpio, this week going direct in Capricorn, where it has been located and retrograde for quite some time. So that could be the reason. Also, we're starting with the Knight of Pentacles. Whatever the reason is, this card sort of goes along with it's 50-50. So maybe that's why I was meant to stop and talk about that die for a minute, because this card says that you have to be like willing to put the work in a relationship. Like each party has to know that there are going to be responsibilities, and it's going to require effort for a relationship to work, and you got to be willing to do those things in order for it to work. Also, for me, this card can be about somebody who's been coming maybe rather slowly, and you might be with them and you might say coming, like we're already together. Yeah, but you've been waiting for the relationship to go to the next level, and it seems like that's not happening, or that's taking forever, or how long do we have to be dating before we move in together, or before we get engaged, or before we get married, before we have a baby, whatever the case is. You're waiting for whatever the next stage is in your mind or your life or your lifestyle, and it seems very slow coming, and so you can start to feel like you don't even know how this person necessarily feels about you, like if they feel the same way that you do, because they express it in a different way, earth signs. And typically they do feel the same way. If they're not willing to do the work, though, then that may be the answer that you're looking for. Okay, and the next card behind it, though, is also upright, however, and it's the Ace of Wands, and that's an indication that, yeah, there is going to be some sort of new phase or fresh start or growth, right? Wands are about growth, expansion, maybe getting a boost from Jupiter, the planet of growth and expansion, karma and luck. Also, wands are about movement. So that's positive. Like if you've been going slow or been stifled, been stuck, all of a sudden we're moving. Maybe it's connected to, again, Pluto retrograde. So not only has it been feeling stuck, but maybe feeling like it's been moving backwards. That's what retrograde feels like, a backward movement. And Pluto retrograde specifically in Capricorn has been about like reassessing your relationships. And now that it's going direct is a time to take action in not just relationships, but whatever area of your life. The retrograde has been about, let me do a review, let me do an assessment, and now I have the information I need. Let me take the action that's necessary for me to take. So in this case, maybe toward a new relationship, maybe toward a deepening of an existing relationship. And the next card is in reverse. It is, however, the Nine of Wands, which is a card that can be about feeling like sort of down and out, like I don't have it in me to do this anymore. And the universe steps in and says, yes, you do. Don't worry. Here's a boost. But now we open to the Five of Cups. It's a card of disappointment, doubt, pessimism. Like, again, maybe you're feeling like it's never going to happen. We're never going to go to the next step. We're never going to, deepen. And you want to change that mindset and focus on more positivity. Queen of Pentacles in reverse says that it may help for you to make some changes in your home or your environment, your surroundings, in order for your relationships and everything to improve. Remodel, redecorate, straighten up if you've, allowed for mess, clutter. Sometimes we can do that, especially when everybody's been staying home for months, like your whole family. You're not used to that. You're used to so-and-so being out at work and this one being out at school, and you get time to do your chores, but everybody's been on top of each other, so you haven't, and it's starting to get messy. Do what when you get the time, can get a moment for yourself for those kind of things. Straighten it up how you like it so that you can feel more comfortable. You can feel more home. Your flow can open up, and that will open up the flow around your relationships as well. Three of Wands indicates maybe travel, movement, could be literal travel, going to visit somebody or them having to visit you, meeting somebody, maybe while you're on a trip. And it might be specifically a business trip or something connected to work. But it looks like that travel is going to be delayed. And maybe because Mercury's in shadow, Mercury, which is currently located in the sign of Scorpio, does go retrograde this month. It's not yet. I think it might be the 11th. I don't remember the date, which would be next week, if that's correct. I don't remember the date, but I'm pretty sure Mercury's in shadow. And that could cause a delay in travel. Even though it's not officially retrograde yet, it can still be happening. Also opening to the star, which represents fellow air signs. Speaking of Mercury, Mercury is the ruler of the sign of Gemini. The star represents fellow air sign Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, which is located in Taurus, to come full circle and put us right back in the energy of earth signs. And behind this, we have the Three of Wands now upright. So the star can be about prayers being answered, wishes being granted, dreams coming true, something that you really made a positive focus intention on so that you could manifest it is coming to life. It is coming to entering your reality. This can also be about spirituality, recovering from something, healing from something. It can be about communication, maybe specifically some sort of online communication. And with the Three of Wands behind it, again, this is another indication of manifestation and something that's about to come about, but not quite yet. So maybe that's what's meant by delay. Like you got to wait a little bit longer, be a little bit more patient, but you can at least see on the horizon that the ships are actually coming in. So it's not just a dream. It's really happening. Maybe they're restricted. There could be a restricted energy holding something up. And in the case of a love reading, this can be an actual marriage, a divorce that's impending, or somebody that needs to make a decision. And so that's why the ship hasn't fully come in yet. Somebody's requiring a decision. Or again, maybe there is something going on in terms of travel, or connected to the sign or energy of Capricorn, which the devil represents, whether it's the Pluto retrograde, the Saturn retrograde, or the Jupiter retrograde for that matter. Actually, Jupiter went direct already. Jupiter went direct already. Although I believe it's still located in Capricorn. I'll do one more of these shuffles and then we'll cut. And it's the Five of Wands in reverse, which in terms of love can mean that, yes, there may be some sort of disagreement, dispute, conflict, argument, debate, whatever you want to call it, or whatever it actually is. Doesn't matter by which name it goes. It's probably a conversation that you need to have. And even though it can feel like an argument or a conflict, it's helpful to the relationship. And that brings us now to a new overall energy of the World in reverse, with the Five of Cups in reverse behind it. Interesting. I'm going to get the stands because I'm going to pull 4 specific cards, one for each element in relation to love. And I want us to be able to see the cards clearly while where's the other stand? While I explain them. All right, here we go. I used to put them around there, and I think that works. So the first card will represent the fire signs: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Your card is the 4 of Cups in reverse. Very good. It's a nice card. It's not very sexy necessarily, but it's a positive card. Earth signs: Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. 2 of Pentacles in reverse. Both of these cards came out in the general reading. So this is interesting. You guys saw me shuffle a few times and cut into several different piles. So I definitely mixed them up. I also shuffled before I even started the camera. But both of these cards turned up in the general. Air signs. I'm pretty sure like I get stuck just about every single time. Like what comes next? And it's my own element. Isn't that crazy? Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. 3 of Cups in reverse. And last but not least, water signs: Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Wheel of Fortune, upright. All right, let's go. And that should be in frame. Looks good. All right, so going back to our overall energy first of the world, it really, although for me, the way that I read it, it's a fire energy. The way that I read it, the way it feels to me when I pick it up, and it tends to show up around other fire cards in my readings, but it really matches up with the energy of the card with which we started, the Knight of Pentacles, and a lot of what I said with regard to him. If you've been like a long-term committed relationship for some time, or even if you've been on a long-term on again, off again sort of thing, and you feel that your love interest or your partner, whichever one applies, has been stuck, or your relationship's been stuck or stagnant, for sometimes this can be that, like, if you're honest with each other and with yourselves first and then with each other, then if you are both willing to put in that work and effort that we discussed, it really is an opportunity, very likely, to move into a new space, to bigger and better things in terms of a relationship. Abundance, right? Pentacles are associated with abundance, so growth, again, in that regard, an expansion in your relationship, deeper connections, or maybe something that is finally committed and on track between, 2 people that have been sort of on and off again for a very, very long time. And things also, if they're already good in your relationship, so if it doesn't apply that you felt stuck and or like you're not going anywhere, if things have already felt good, or if you are able to have this kind of talk and get to a place where things are good between you, then in the love department, maybe this is why the sex die popped up twice. We started with it, meaning when I threw the dice on the table, it landed on sex, and then when I shook them up in front of you and threw it down again, it landed on sex. This card can mean that things in like the love department, if you know what I mean, can be very, very interesting in a good way. And for single people looking for love, we're guided to, reach out. That means get out and mingle, or that means pick up the phone and, text or call. If you haven't spoken to somebody in a long time, it might be better to call rather than text for the first time. Because sometimes that text, first of all, if we haven't been in contact with the person for a long time, we don't know where the text is going. That's first of all. And then second of all, a text is too easy for them to sort of look at, go, through emotions over, and then maybe not respond, or, we allow them time for their fear to set in too. Whereas with a call, it's more like, not that you're taking away that opportunity, but you're facing the situation head on. And so this definitely guides you to not be afraid and to go ahead and face the situation. So remember what I also said, not just about the Knight of Pentacles on its own, but in terms of Pluto and it going direct, and that um, the energy has been about assessing a situation and now it's time to take action. So this could be something that you were thinking about for a long time, something or someone you've been thinking about for a long time. The whole time Pluto's been in retrograde, and now that it is going direct is the time for you to actually take action, pick up the phone, reach out, or maybe like have a friend hook you up, if there's a mutual friend. And this can go for singles too. Like you can meet people through friends. When I say get out and mingle or reach out, it doesn't have to necessarily be, in the most literal and or traditional sense. It can be, somebody else hooking you up, as they say, or something like that. So just be open to it. Don't be afraid to get out there and do what you need to do to close the deal in a romantic relationship. If you close yourself off because of fear and stuff, nothing will change. I mean, that's like the kind of energy that's out there. It's like you have this window of opportunity, and maybe that's why the Ace of Wands was directly behind that Knight of Pentacles. There's a window of opportunity for you to take this action. Will you do it? And if you do, it will make all the difference. It really will. Well, that's what the cards say. All right, so moving on to the fire signs specifically. And for you, the Four of Cups says that you're finally ready to... The Four of Cups in a general sense in reverse is about like you're done wallowing in self-pity. You're done sitting around being inactive, like waiting for stuff to happen. And you are ready to take action. You have acknowledged that it's time for you to get up and do. Like that kind of like how that saying, shit or get off the pot. You realize that it's time for you to actually do one of those, and as opposed to just sitting there. And so you're ready. Now, what could have been holding you back is very possibly your past. And when I say your past, it's like sometimes we're still connected somehow to like a ghost, like like the ghost of Christmas past, like that story Scrooge. We're sometimes stuck with like the ghost of relationship past. So even when a couple is divorced, thinking again about the devil that showed up here, even when a couple is divorced, sometimes you say like, okay, she's divorced now, he's divorced now, so now everything's going to fall into place and we can be together. And then it doesn't happen still, and you're like, what the there's still like a soul connection or a karmic connection, or fear, or combination of those, or all of the above, that keeps them sort of tied to this ghost of the past relationship or person with whom they were in a relationship. So with the Four of Cups in reverse in terms of love, it means you're finally ready to move beyond all of those. Like whatever the case is, you're ready to get up and do what you need to do to get back into life. So to meet somebody new if you're single, like I'm tired of being single now. I know what I have to do. I got to go meet somebody. I know how to do that. I put on my sexy shoes and my sexy skirt, and I put lipstick on for a change, and brush my hair, and then I can meet a man. You guys get the picture. All right, so that's for you fire signs. You're ready to do something about your love life, whatever that means, whether you're single or you're partnered. Take it to the next level and step, or end it. Like whatever is appropriate for you. You're ready to do something, and not be tied to anything that's holding you back anymore. Certainly not your past. Moving on to the earth signs. So this card also goes along with what I was saying about being willing to put in the work and focus on an intention, which is to build a healthy relationship and to prioritize. and this is your energy, this is your element. The Two of Pentacles describes also your nature. You guys are very hard workers. In fact, the sign of Capricorn is considered the workhorse of the zodiac. Like, you know, but all of the earth signs are overall. I mean, there's going to be people that don't fit the bill in every single sign, you know, every single shape, size, color, race, all that stuff. There's somebody that does not fit, you know, what is typical of the larger group, and that's going to happen with you guys too. But for the most part, you are dedicated, like committed, you know, loyal people. You stay on track. There's a plan, you follow it, you go straight, you don't deviate from the plan, you don't go here and there, you know, all over the place, maybe like an air sign. You know, you are focused and determined in that sense. Um, well, that spills into or can translate into you being very, very hard workers, and sort of like sinking yourself into work, diving into work and sinking yourself in, and then maybe your relationships suffer. So the Two of Pentacles pops up when, if we're single, for example, and because we're single, well, I ain't got no man, I ain't got no woman, I might as well work, 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 which does make sense. I'm not here to argue with you or disagree. It does make sense. But if you've decided that you're ready to move past what was holding you back, like the fire signs, and you're ready to move into a relationship, but you're always at work or you always are working, and you don't have time to nurture a relationship, time to meet anybody, time to share with someone, space to share with someone, you know, like there's no room in your life, there's no room in your home, you know, in your schedule, there's no room, period, anywhere, then it's like you're not ready for a relationship. You may think you are, you may think you want one, but you're not ready, and you got to make those kind of adjustments. So again, to tie it back to the card with which we started, this is about, are you ready to take the effort? Are you willing to put in the effort? And again, the World is a card that sort of asks the same question. World in reverse says that it's time to put in the work, if this is what you want. So that's what you guys are going to have to do. Find some time. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, Jill a dull girl. So if you want a relationship, then you need to make time for one. And the same thing goes for you guys that are already committed. You know, you're probably having trouble finding time and energy for each other. You know, like when you do have the time, one is exhausted or both are exhausted because you both work so hard. And so, I mean, again, I'm not knocking that. You probably have stability in your lives in terms of, you know, you're not worried about not having a roof over your head tomorrow or something to eat. You know, you got security, you got a comfortable home, it's clean, it's nice, but you're like two ships passing in the night. And so it's going to require that work for you to decide to like prioritize each other, yourselves as individuals, and your relationship as a unit. And it can get back on track. Moving on to us air signs, perhaps contrary to the earth signs, or maybe similar to the earth signs, depending upon it, why we're stressed out. It's financial stresses that can be affecting your relationship when the Three of Cups shows up. Believe it or not, like you might say, like, what does that have to do with money? I don't know. I don't know. That's the traditional tarot's meaning, that some sort of financial stresses. So you could be having financial stresses because again, you're a workhorse, and so it's not that you don't have enough money, but you're always focused on work and earning, and you know, I don't have time for a relationship, or I think I do, but I'm never home. So it could be that kind of problem, or it can be, you know, because we're struggling somewhat financially, or we're having some sort of difficulty, that's affecting relationship, because I don't feel like I can provide for you, I don't feel like I can provide for me, I don't feel like I can provide for us. That's affecting the relationship. Can go either way. But the point is, it's the message is often that it is financial stresses that are affecting the relationship. If we're single, the news is better. However, we may very well meet somebody new to have a romantic situation with, that we really, really like, in some sort of group setting, or again through friends. So if you're looking for love, go ahead and get out there and connect with groups. Now, in general, the Three of Cups in reverse can definitely be about reunions and reuniting. So there could be a reconnection, a rekindling of a past relationship, maybe for the air signs. Also, the Three of Cups upright, um, and even in a general sense, not even necessarily specific to love, but in a general sense, says that you can expect, in reverse too, I think it still means this. Actually, yes, it does. Whether it's in reverse or upright. In a general sense, the Three of Cups says that you can expect to have at least one pleasant reunion. So, and it's with someone or something. And since this is a love reading, I'm going to say it's someone from whom you've been separated, or from whom you've been apart for some time. This is not like an ex from last week. This is like for some time. And so it could be connected to that Knight of Pentacles too. Like I said, this is a long time coming with the Knight of Pentacles. And there's a sense of being like feeling particularly supported by friends and family. So in this case, you can apply it to loved ones or romantic interests, and or that, again, in order to hook up or be reunited with somebody from your past, your friends or a group may come in handy. And maybe hanging out with that group, being social, can help you out. Or if you're the one who's wanting to reach out, then maybe you ask a friend to put in a good word for you, or to facilitate some sort of reconnection for you. Or perhaps we're on the receiving end of a call from a mutual friend or a text from a mutual friend saying so and so misses you or whatever, and then it's up to us to be open to that and willing to put in the effort. Now it's our turn, right? The ball comes into our court, and it requires our effort to take the next step. So moving on to the water signs, Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune is an awesome card. It is about the planet Jupiter. It represents the planet Jupiter, again, ruler of the sign of Sagittarius, and it is the planet of growth, expansion, luck, karma. So in that sense, it sounds really awesome. It's also connected to the fixed sign. So of the element of water, that would be Scorpio. So maybe something really magical in particular happening for you Scorpios with Wheel of Fortune showing up. But believe it or not, because it does seem kind of weird even to me, the Wheel of Fortune is about your relationships possibly no longer suiting your needs. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to end a relationship, if you've been in one that's committed and or long term. It's not necessarily over or doomed or anything, but it does require action. It requires effort. You guys are going to have to first, again, decide what you want to do. Talk about it. Talk about how you're feeling. And then go from there. Is this a relationship that you want to keep going? Sometimes when we like finally open up about something like that, we find that the other person feels the same way. Like you say, I feel like the relationship hasn't been going anywhere for a while. They're like, oh, me too. I've been wondering how to bring up the conversation to you. And you realize that you can both mutually and amicably either move forward or end it. And either way, it's fine. It doesn't have to be some sort of crushing event for anyone. Sometimes people just both in a couples can just both of the people can realize that they're in the wrong place and that it's time to move on. Not everything is permanent. Some relationships are just for a season, as they say. But again, that's not to sort of sound like any relationship in that position is doomed. Some are going to be just fine, but you have to communicate. So if you're single and looking for a relationship, first, you gotta sort of get an understanding of like what that looks like to you, who that is, like what kind of woman do I want? What kind of man do I want? And then once you do that, then it's time to get out there and mingle and find them. And that can also mean through online dating and or by allowing friends to, introduce you to somebody who sort of fits the bill of what it is you're looking for. So don't block that out. Now I'm going to sort of supplement these cards with some from the Keepers of the Light Oracle, beginning with Archangel Michael. Trusting heaven, you are safe. Angels stand close. Surrender your concerns and allow a miracle to occur. And opening to Gaia, some more of this earth energy, right? This is earth connection and very mother. Mother actually has a feast day this week on the Christian calendar. October 7th is the feast day of Our Lady of the Rosary, for those who connect with things like that. Be mindful of the planet and come back to earth. Stay grounded. Gaia. Jwal cool and Dharma unfolding. Remember that you are on a path. Take one step at a time to happiness. Odin, psychic insight. Your third eye is open. See truth for what it is and follow your intuition. And this is a nice one to end on. Radha, soul flame. Rediscover a lost part of yourself. Experience relationship harmony and healing. And we're back to Odin and Psychic Insight. So I'm going to pull one card for each element again, beginning with fire, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Your card is fire. Look at that. Inner strength with Bridget. Move back to wholeness. Recognize that you have the power. And I think that that's what this Four of Cups is already suggesting you're doing. Remember I said that this is like where you're finally ready to get up and say, I got to take action. I got to move back to wholeness, right? So that goes with that. I'd rather put it here so we could see both, but the cards haven't been behaving lately. Earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Freya, phases and cycles. There is a beginning within every ending. Illusions are revealed and released. Well, this card is very death to me. I don't know about you guys. But for me, it's very death, which would represent the sun of Scorpio. But again, Pluto goes direct in Capricorn this week. So it still makes sense that this would be showing up for the earth signs with these phases and cycles. So something is coming to an end, and then there is a natural beginning, fresh start for something else. So maybe what's coming to an end is this inability to connect. That's represented by the Two of Pentacles. And then there is connection happening, like the birth of new, fresh, fertile energy to grow your relationships, which is beautiful. For us air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, supplementing the Three of Cups, we have Kuan Yin. More mother energy, care and compassion. Choose to be love. Do what's right for everyone involved and offer a helping hand. That's funny that it says everyone involved, because I was thinking, and I haven't mentioned in a while, or not in a consistent way, that the threes can, always have something to do with some sort of party of three, as I like to call them. Three people involved in a relationship. They don't always know that they're all involved in a relationship, but they can be. So it says do what's right for everyone involved. And maybe, again, that is having something to do with divorce, possibly, or, some sort of adjustment to the relationship, narrowing it down to two. Or sometimes you want all three. Hey, maybe you do know too. There's poly relationships also, whatever the case is. But do what's right for everyone involved. And lastly, water signs. The Shekinah, sacred self. Unleash your spirit, express your gifts, and dance to the sacred rhythm of life. trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about these. With the angel and animal tarots, we begin with an overall energy of the King of Swords. He is brilliant, impartial, professional, and diplomatic. Speak your mind with confidence. Seek out professional advice and balance mental and emotional considerations. So this tells us to say what we mean and mean what we say. Where there is communication needed, have it. Don't be afraid to have it. Again, this can also be connected not only to the earth signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, but maybe perhaps to Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury, or to Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, or to Scorpio, where Mercury is currently located. You know what? I was going to go ahead and dole out the cards, but let me mix them up again in front of you guys. Didn't do that yet. All right. And now we went from the King of Swords, the Magician, which also represents the energy of Gemini most directly. You are ready. You have the resources or the ability to manifest them, and life is magical. So this is about manifesting whatever it is you want in your life, including the type of relationship, maybe not the exact person, but the type of person, generous and stable, not toxic, loves me genuinely, allows me to love them genuinely. We take care of each other. You can envision all of that and bring that to you. So it may not come aesthetically in what you would have imagined. So you may not have like the facial features you would have imagined, or the height or weight or whatever, race, gender even, who knows. But the characteristics and the spirit, the type of soul, that's what we can manifest. Also, this says that we're going to be seeing signs and synchronicities and things, and we're to pay close attention to them, because our prayers are being answered, our wishes are being granted, and our dreams are coming true, says the Nine of Cups. Now is the time your dreams come true. Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that's still to come. And a Knight of Cups says that it may be in the form of one of your exes. So that could be, exactly how the type of person you're looking for shows up, or the type of person, that looks and just feels to you the way that they should. That could be how they arrive in the way that you would want, because you've already been with them. You know them. They're emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, and contemplative, falling in love, or wedding proposals, the need to balance emotions, and an invitation to a social event. And behind this is the King of Cups as well. He is warm-hearted, devoted, loving, and faithful. A trustworthy person or relationship enters your life. You may receive wise and compassionate advice from someone who speaks directly from the heart. So this person also very possibly not only male and or masculine, but a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And again, maybe somebody from your past, with the Knight of Cups showing up. Now, I got to tell you, the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups were each, I don't know if it was from the same decks, but they were each among the feminine's advice in the general reading. And when for example, we've now seen the Magician, the Nine, the Knight, and the King. So before I shuffle these cards again, I'm going to first take these four and stick them in arbitrarily, as you guys have seen me do many times. Then after I do that, then I'm going to shuffle them up, and then I'm going to use them for a reading. And then when I use them for a reading, I'm going to go over whatever landed on the top after I shuffled them up that time. And then I'm going to mix them up again on screen the way I just did. And so for 2 cards to still end up together is pretty insane. You know, on the same day, no less. And not only insane, but a very strong message. From the element of water. There we go. I was looking for cards from the other deck. Okay, so advice for those who identify as a masculine from the Angel Tarot. Your card is more Pluto energy. Major Arcana card 20, renewal or judgment. Review and evaluate a favorable assessment of the facts. It's time to move in a new direction. So judgment can be about second chances, second time around. So it could be about like a relationship that we tried a long time ago, maybe. It didn't work out. We're trying again. That's one thing. Also, in relationships in general, it can be about like a make or break moment, a crossroads that we're coming to. We need to decide, like, where do we go from here, if anywhere. Sometimes we're not going anywhere else. It's the end of the road, and that's the end of it. But sometimes we're going to go a little bit further, and then sometimes we're going to go all the way. We decide when this shows up. But the most important thing is probably that judgment, at least the way that I read it, is about abundance that is earned. This is increase. This is promotion. This is raise. This is ascension. This is recognition. This is awards and rewards. You know, this is money, assistance, effort, energy, love, whatever it is that you have earned, it's coming to you and it's positive. It can also be something literal, as in a legal judgment, as in a judgment of divorce, very possible. So somebody's divorce could be going through, or you could be finally filing for divorce this month. Yeah, but it's still the right thing to do. Like, even if it's divorce, it's the right thing to do. Again, this is positive energy. Judgment's one of my favorite cards. And then it can also be literal in the sense that it's about being judgmental and presumptuous and jumping to conclusions and assumptions. So stay away from that. Think back to the King of Swords, and rather than, presume or beat around the bush about stuff, say what you mean what you say. You're unclear on something, ask the question, get an answer. Okay? We're putting on our big boy pants, and yeah, this is the masculine pile, so get your big boy pants. And then big girl pants as well, but speaking to you guys now with this judgment. For the feminine, our card is the Ace of Cups. Very nice. So the same element, again, judgment represents the planet Pluto and the sign of Scorpio most directly. And then here we have the Ace of Cups. Falling in love, or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, maybe even a new home. Home can also be metaphoric. Home is where the heart is. So the heart could find a new home, a new location to be happy and joyous. Speaking of joyous, there is also a feast day on the Hebrew calendar this week, Simchat Torah, which is a celebration of joy. Also, Shemini Atzeret on the Hebrew calendar. And yeah, those two combined are a celebration of joy. The joy is about a cycle of having read the Torah over the course of the year comes to an end. So we read the last bit of the Torah this week, and then we start again with Genesis after the feast day. So that's a very joyous occasion. That could be giving us energy or whatever, that's allowing for these things like the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Wands to show up for us. So getting back to the masculine from the Animal Tarot, your card is the Knight of Wands. He is passionate, charismatic, confident, and restless. An opportunity arises that needs your attention right away. Yeah, your love life. Moving quickly is important, yet there's nothing that you can't handle if you follow your own inner guidance. Our overall energy, as you recall, is the Magician. So again, getting a lot of inner guidance, signs, synchronicities that you need to pay attention to and then implement into your life if you so choose to use your free will to your best, possible capabilities, abilities. All right. Feminine, major arcana card 2, the high priestess, also Gemini energy, or perhaps a water sign in traditional tarot practice. This is a time to pause and to reflect, not to take action. Trust in your spiritual gifts as nothing is hidden from your divine sight. So now you have the magician and the high priestess both telling you that signs and synchronicities are going to be popping up for you to pay very close attention to. All right. And for the masculine, lastly, white eagle, ancestor spirit. If you saw my readings last week, the three of them, the general, the love, and the moon reading, you know that I've been talking about ancestors up and down since then. So they're still around, they're still guiding you, and that may be who's putting the signs and synchronicities in front of you and who's trying to nudge you toward, one person or another, one type of relationship or another. And again, you're going to want to follow your instincts on this. Connect to your lineage. A family wound or pattern can be healed now. This can also be something from a past life of yours, if not just your past in this life. And maybe like you don't have to keep repeating this same kind of pattern. You don't have to be like your mother. I keep bringing up that Prince song, When Doves Cry. Maybe I'm just like my mother. She's never sad. You don't have to be just like your mother. I found that I am very much like my mother. Like I stayed married longer than I should have. Same thing like my mother. Like she really should have divorced my father a lot sooner than she did before they made it official. I made the same mistake. She remarried. I haven't done that. But I just we repeat sometimes these patterns that are not always positive, and we have an opportunity when this card shows up to break that. So if you find that you're doing that, you can stop it right now and you can do things the right way. Or, the best way. You might not have an example of the right way. You might be the first person to do it the right way. And it could, and again, I'm just feeling a lot of this. I don't know who's getting a divorce or how many of you, if I'm only talking to one person, or if I'm talking to several, but even something like that, you may have been afraid to do it. Maybe that's, I just feel like it's taken a long time to finally get to this point, not unlike my own mother or myself. I feel like it's taken you a long time too, and maybe because you thought that what you're supposed to do is stay in, and that could be your family's mistake. Not unlike my own mother or myself, staying in these relationships way too long or staying connected to that energy. Because I was feeling like somebody was divorced already, but for whatever reason, couldn't move forward. I wasn't moving forward like very quickly. It didn't seem. This is your chance to just like rewrite history, so to speak, for yourself. And last but not least, for the feminine, it is Gaia, Earth connection. Again, be mindful of the planet, come back to Earth, and stay grounded. So we want to be careful about overthinking and being flighty and flying off the handle for no reason. Maybe being judgmental, to use some of the masculine's energy, and sort of like try to stay down here, down to Earth, and go out and spend some time in nature if you need to. If that will help you, maybe put your feet in the grass, take your shoes off while you're outside at the park or something like that for a minute, and feel nature if you are in an area that's at all conducive to doing that. And it should really help you with flow. Hope you have enjoyed the love reading this week. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up, like, share, comment, subscribe if you haven't already by hitting both the subscribe button and the bell button. I didn't tell my story in the beginning about how much trouble I have with my YouTube channel, but one of the problems is that my subscribers often don't get notified that I've put up a new video. So the best way to try to combat that is by hitting both buttons, subscribe and bell. But whether you do or not, I thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Namaste.